Hi there, I hope you're well today. It's a beautiful day out here. Um, Today I thought I'd just talk quickly about the difference between cash flow positive and negative gearing. There's a couple of different terms that get thrown around with property investment, and it's kind of important to understand the difference because there's positive gearing, there's negative gearing, and there's positive cash flow. So all of those have a certain meaning. Negative gearing is when your rent that comes in for the property doesn't cover all of your outgoings. Positive cash flow is, positive gearing I should say, positive gearing is when the rent covers all of your outgoings on the property. Okay, so your outgoings being your payment on your loan, your rates, your insurances, maybe your property management fees, all that type of thing. Any costs associated with the property are fully covered by the amount of rent that's coming in over the year. Then there's positive cash flow. Now, positive cash flow is when the rent doesn't cover the outgoings, but when you get your tax return back, the tax benefits that you get back for holding the property, once you get that benefit back, that plus the rent cover all of your outgoings. So if you had $20,000 worth of rent coming in during the course of the year and you had $26,000 worth of expenses going out, you'd be $6,000 in the hole during the year. You'd have to make up that $6,000. But then when you do your tax return, if you got $8,000 back, you've had $28,000 come in, you've had $26,000 go out. So that $8,000 has covered the $6,000 that you were short. So a lot of people, a lot of my clients tend to wait till the end of the financial year to get that tax return, and you can actually go onto the ATO website and get a variation form that allows you to do that in your pay. So you give it to your pay clerk, and during the financial year you can actually get that an adjustment to your tax rate, so you actually get that back through your pay during the course of the year. The other thing I just want to say about that is a lot of people talk about negative gearing as some kind of evil monster, some kind of demonic type thing, like it's a strategy in itself. And negative gearing in itself isn't a strategy. It's just the term used for a property, like I said, where the rent isn't covering all the outgoings. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the nature of that type of property. It's the nature of that property. If it's not something you would set up, you wouldn't ask for less rent so you could get it negatively geared. You'd always want as much rent as you can get. But the reality is most properties in high growth areas are going to be negatively geared. That's just the way it is, unless you're doing something specific around that property, i.e. leasing it room by room or doing something like that to encourage a stronger rent return, or maybe even finishing the property might do that for you in some areas. So I thought I'd just talk about that today to clear it up a little bit, because they are terms that get bandied around a lot and there's quite a bit of misunderstanding around them. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense.